Greetings, God's people. Although you haven't seen Jesus, you love him and are filled with an inexpressible joy. Welcome to the Week 2 review for Mark's Words, 100 Encounters with Jesus Christ in the Gospel of Mark. This week we have read Mark chapter 1, verse 21 through chapter 2, verse 12. Jesus' ministry is up and running, and we begin to see some patterns emerge. There are four basic things that mark his ministry. 1, Jesus casts out unclean spirits, demons. 2, Jesus heals serious and even incurable physical diseases. 3, Jesus teaches and preaches with authority. And 4, Jesus forgives sins as if he has divine authority. Now, some people emphasize the miraculous, the spectacular actions of Jesus and minimize his words. Other people focus on the teaching of Jesus and maybe don't want to deal much with the thought of the supernatural. But the gospel gives us both together. The authoritative actions of Jesus paired with the authoritative words of Jesus. But if you had to press us to go in one direction or the other, which would we emphasize? Would we emphasize the authoritative actions of Jesus in casting out demons and healing diseases? Or would we emphasize his authoritative words in teaching, preaching, and forgiving sins? We would emphasize the latter, the words of Jesus, his teaching, preaching, and forgiving sins. Now, why would we do that? Because Jesus himself says it. Let me read for you Mark chapter 1, verses 37 and 38. Jesus is not content to set up shop in one place and be a miracle worker, be a healer. No, listen to this. They're looking for Jesus. And when they found him, they said, "Everyone is looking for you." He replied, "Let us go elsewhere into the surrounding villages so that I can preach there too, for that is what I came out here to do." Jesus himself says in the beginning of his ministry that his primary concern is preaching the word. And in fact, when we see that he does heal and cast out demons, it's always in service to point to the authority of his word. So when Jesus cast out the unclean spirit at the synagogue in Capernaum in chapter 1, it was to demonstrate Jesus' authority to teach. And when Jesus healed the paralytic in chapter 2, it was to demonstrate that Jesus has the authority to forgive sins. Here at Mark His Words, we give you the whole gospel, the whole Jesus, and we emphasize what the gospel writer emphasizes. We emphasize what Jesus himself emphasizes. So, keep on marking his words. Join us for the readings this week and for another video review next week. Until then, God's blessings to you.